When I went there 3 months ago, beginning of May, I wasn't quite sure why I'm going there. I had a scientific conference, but when I accepted to do Kailash Kora, I wasn't sure why. But when I got to the Tibet, I realized why. We know Tibet from 1930s, 1940s, 1950s as a place where a lot of Buddhist monks resided, with the beautiful Buddhist temples, with exceptional Buddhist libraries, some of them having documents over 5,000 years old. From some of the movies we can remember, for example, 7 Years in Tibet, that during the ceremonies, the Buddhists would bring those books, some of them being so heavy that 3 monks were needed to carry them to the hall. And then they would be reading about the ancient knowledge. Most of the books were for daily use. The older monks were getting the knowledge to the younger ones. They were teaching them about the history and political system before, and agriculture, and spirituality, and energy flow. And this knowledge was going from generation to generation. They were like time capsules with the knowledge written for the future generations. One of the information when I met the Buddhist libraries was about the Chinese pyramids. The first information about them, which are located in the Shanxi province, was 5,000 years old document. In this document, the Buddhists were saying that those pyramids were very, very old, meaning before the known human civilizations. So I knew that that was a great cultural heritage for the planet. When I went to Tibet, my desire was, among other things, to visit all libraries. I was flying to Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, hoping to see all these beautiful temples. When we arrived to the airport, I rode a very modern highway from the airport to Lhasa. In the suburban parts of Lhasa, I saw huge residential buildings, 20, 30, 40 stories high. I could not see any of those temples. Just modern Chinese city with 1 million inhabitants. More than 80% of Chinese, not Tibetans. I was very sad when I saw that. The main palace where the last Dalai Lama used to reside is abandoned. Just little parties open for public. No library used by Tibetan monks. For 12 days I was traveling throughout the Tibet. And then I realized that some of the temples who used to have 300 monks, they are down to 5 monks. In 1967, the first year of the famous cultural revolution in China, most of the temples were destroyed, burned. Libraries moved either to Beijing, burned down, with a little portion taken to India, and some to Nepal. So Tibet is not what it used to be. It gave me great sadness. So when the day when I was supposed to start my Kailash Kora, walking around the Kailash, it came to me. My message should not be about anything personal. The reason I came to Tibet was not to gain something and to feed my ego. It was something much more important. To give Tibet back to Tibetans. Coming to Darchen, which is the base camp, it's coming to 4,700 meters above the sea level. You probably know that above 3,000 meters there is a lack of oxygen. You cannot breathe normally. It doesn't matter you go to Tibet or Peru or Bolivia. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 meters. Your lung system had to be different, much larger. Your nostrils also 2 times bigger. And your heart has to be bigger. You don't have enough oxygen to keep your body moving and to keep your brain working. Everything is so simplified. You cannot think about 10 different things, just one. I came to Darchen after 10 days in Tibet already, always 4,700 or 5,000 meters above the sea level. I was already exhausted, not sleeping at nights. What you do when you go to sleep, after 45 minutes, you woke up lacking oxygen. And then you cannot sleep the rest of the night. So really after 10 days, which I was supposed to use to acclimatize myself, I was so exhausted. And now I had the toughest part, walking around the mountain. In May, the temperatures in Tibet are minus 17 degrees. Of course, there are no hotel facilities with the heating. You sleep in the room with minus 5, minus 8, minus 10 degrees in all your clothes and 2 or 3 jackets. It was 3 of us who decided to do Kailash Kora, me and 2 Bulgarians, 1 doctor and 1 pilot, all of us in our 50s. And the guide, a Tibetan. The first day we did our first 18 kilometers. At the beginning of my journey in the Kailash Kora, I was standing in the front of the Hindu little temple. And this is where I sent my telepathic message. I was on my knee, with my left hand pointing to the west, to the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. With my right hand, exactly to Kailash. And this is what I said, with my eyes closed. I'm nobody, just a piece of dust in endless space. I'm calling upon the energies of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, the oldest artificial pyramidal structure on the planet, the mother of all pyramids. And I'm calling up to the energies of pyramidal mountain Kailash, the oldest shaped mountain, millions of years old, the father of all pyramids, to help to give Tibet back to Tibetans, to inform millions of Chinese who go outside of China and who has the opportunity to learn about the true history of Tibet, especially 1960s, to put some more pressure on Chinese government and to put some pressure on Chinese monks who accepted Buddhism, and in a sophisticated way to soften Chinese government. And I also wish that Tibetans, who mostly live in India today, go back to the ancient knowledge. And those 2 great nations, Tibetans and Chinese, combine spirituality and technological advancement, because China has become the world superpower. So the Tibet can regain some of the ancient knowledge that they did have. The second day in Kailash starts very early in the morning, 5 a.m. at minus 17, and the wind, even though it was beginning of May. Until the end of April, you cannot even pass the Kailash. The most important part is to climb Dormala, which is a big pass. It is on 5,630 meters. Again, lack of oxygen, very cold. And you are climbing almost vertically. The snow all around you. This is when I realized that my Kailash Kora is not only about physical challenge, but also mental and spiritual. When you start walking with a lack of oxygen, your steps are very, very short. So you move very slowly. Our small group of 3, plus the guide, was moving slowly. After 1 hour of climbing, we could see somebody was coming back. It was a Russian woman with a guide. She gave up. In those moments, you know that in front of you is just climbing up. And somebody is there who's going back. So you move for some time, and then your mental part give up also. And then your spiritual part has to take over. And this is what gives the sophistication to our bodies. Our soul. Our soul is there to help us overcome the limits of our physical and mental entity. So you keep moving, and at one moment you look around you, blue sky, a beautiful pyramidal mountain Kailash, the white snow around you, and you are thinking it would be nice to make a photo. But in order to make a photo, you would need to move your 2 walking sticks to the sides, to move first and then second glove, to open your first jacket, to open your second jacket, to get your hands inside your pocket, to get the mobile phone out, then to try to find the camera. I counted, it was 12 operations. I said to myself, no way. I'm not doing any additional operations. Just keep walking, keep walking. And then you think, once you come to the top of this pass, after that, it's much easier because you are going down. You think, okay, when I reach the top, what I'm going to do? I'm going to yell. I'm going to be the happiest man on the planet. So finally you get there. But you don't have a desire or need to yell. You simply look for the place to sit down and rest a little bit. And this is what I did. I found a rock sticking out from the snow. I was sitting there, and then I saw a little bird on the top of this pass, 5,650 meters above the sea level. And I remember that I had a piece of dry bread in my pocket. So I gave him a piece of the bread. And the second bird came, and third. All of a sudden, I had 10 birds around me. I forgot about all these efforts. And I was in another world with the birds and the nature. And then 2 friends of mine, the Bulgarians, they finally came. And they were looking for the place to sit down. And they saw rocks across mine. So they started walking there. But the birds were there. So they were scaring my birds. I said, hey, don't scare my birds. And then I realized it's more important for them to sit down. Anyway, I climbed down. And I decided that instead of 3 days, I do Kailash Kora in 2 days. So I passed the marker for the second day. I kept walking. Me and my guide, we were in front of the other 2 Bulgarians. And then my guide saw the pickup truck. He said, why don't we take a pickup truck? We are done with the hardest part. And then we drive back to Darchen. I said, no. That would mean that I'm not completing the Kailash Kora. I'm not doing this Kailash Kora because of the other people who's going to see me. I'm doing it for myself. So we finally completed it just before the dark. It's about the challenges that we have in front of us in our lives. The goals that we need to set up. And sincerity that we need to show. This place is becoming the concept of life. The life that we want to live in 21st century. For the longest time, we had elites who have been controlling us and manipulating us, at least for 7,000 years. through the money, political elites, corporate elites, medias. They are very organized. The problem with the people, common people, independent thinkers, people who want good in their lives, is that we are not organized. We need to get better organized. We need to travel to different places, to learn from the others, and to share the knowledge. Our archaeological project has a future, because we never relied on the government money. We never relied on if somebody is going to give us permission or not. We had noble goals in front of us. And we knew that we are going to make it, because our goals are sincere goals. Every time you come here, you bring your energy stamp. I wish that you enjoy the energy both ways. The one that you bring, the one that you are getting back. And that you've come many, many times to the heart of Bosnia, to the Bosnian Pyramid site. Thank you very much. Thank you, this is what I had for you. We asked the pyramids to bring us the 2 hours with no rain, so we were lucky. The pyramids cooperate with us, but if you are sincere, then yes, it does cooperate with you.
Weather.com said it's going to rain this morning, and it's
heavy rain.
It's
they
totally
said
fine.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we made it all clear. I see good energy.
To spread the light not only here but through the whole earth.